Hello everyone. Now let us study about water resources, the second natural resource. Water resources. Some important points about water resources. It is the most abundant element on the earth. We know that around 75% or 3/4 of the earth is covered by water, and out of this 75%, if you see, most of the water is present in the ocean, 98%, while only 2% is the fresh water. And out of this some fresh water, you can see that most of it is present in the polar ice caps. It is locked in polar ice caps, around 87%, while little bit of it is found as running water in the rivers. Some of it is present in the ponds and lakes, while just 0.1% is actually the accessible water which we are using. That is about few important points here. Sort of all this water which we have, just 0.1% is available for us to use. So understand the precious nature of potable water. Hydrological cycle. This comprises of the water cycle. Water evaporates from the surface of sea or the ocean, from the surface of ponds, lakes, from our body surface, from the surface of trees and all. Then it forms the clouds, and these clouds, when they condense, you get precipitation. Rainfall is the way by which the water which has evaporated reaches back to the earth. Rainfall occurs on the rivers, on the land, and even in the ocean. And here, the water which has evaporated, when it reaches the cold zones, the cold areas, there it comes down in the form of snowfall, and it gets blocked there in the form of ice caps. At suitable temperature, when suitable temperature comes, again the snow melts, and whatever water that is reaching down to the earth again, now it can percolate through the ground and reach the water table, where it is stored as the groundwater, or it can slowly run off from the surface or just beneath the soil, and it can reach the ocean again. Here, when you have rainfall and when the rivers are full, people have learned to put up dams to store the water for energy production, for using it for agricultural purposes, as well as for potable purposes. All these are the components of water cycle, and these are guided by the sun. Sun is responsible for evaporation of water, and at cold times, yes, this moisture, it condenses to form black clouds, which again come down as rain and reach the earth's surface. These are the components of this hydrological cycle or water cycle. Now the water resource which is available to us and which is a part of this hydrological cycle, it is available only to some extent. That is, you call it as this availability per head, and the term that is used to represent it is renewable water per capita, that is per individual per year. If a country has very high population, obviously the per capita availability of water is very less, while the countries which have low population or which have heavy rainfall, they have very high water availability per person. For example, in Iceland, less people are there, they don't use much of water, and the water availability is 160 million gallons per person per year. But in Kuwait, Middle East, where high temperatures prevail, where there is very less availability of fresh water, you see that it is 3000 gallons per person per year. And coming to India, the need of water per year per head in India as on now is, it is 4,92,152.5 gallons per person per year, and this quantity, it has doubled over the past 1 decade. Previously it was not that much, but with the change in the lifestyle, with the way we are using the water, the natural resources and all, it has doubled. A simple lifestyle there we used to use less water, but now it is more water. Previously we used to use just candles to filter water, but when you are using RO plant, for every 1 water of pure water that we are getting, around 3 liters of water is wasted, which itself indicates that we are losing more water. That is, the water consumption per head is increasing. And the next will be a battle over water, and it has already started between different states, between Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, all these states, they are fighting over water. It has already started. Now, why we are talking about water resources? What is the use? We know that water is a universal solvent. It is the place where biological reactions and many chemical reactions take place. Around 90% of the cell protoplasm, it consists of water, and our body has 66.6% of water. And water has many industrial applications. It has commercial applications. It is used as a coolant. The water is steamed up. The energy of the steam is used. And apart from that, you see that daily we'll be consuming water. A minimum of 2.5 liters we consume, and we leave out 1.5 liters in the form of urine or precipitation. And apart from that, a minimum daily use that we use is 50 liters. A normal simple lifestyle will a man with a normal simple lifestyle will use 50 liters of water. But if you are talking about high-end lifestyles and all, you'll be using more water. Say for example, a simple thing, use a bucket and a mug in the bathroom, then you'll be using little of water. But if you use lots of showers, all these sophisticated showers and all, and if you start spending lot of time in bathtubs and all, the amount of water that you're wasting is much more. So use of bucket and mug is going to reduce per capita consumption of water, and it is going to save water. Conservation of water. Yes, we have to talk about this, and this includes the protection of water resources, the development, and even efficient ways of managing the water resources. Coming to the strategies. First thing is, yes, when rainfalls are coming up, they fall on the hills and all. And here, instead of allowing the water to run down the hills, you have to divert these streams very carefully into low-lying areas where you construct some ponds, so that everything gets accumulated over there, and those low-lying areas can use it for agricultural purposes. Very carefully people can construct dams. You have to go very thick vegetation along the banks of the rivers such that water percolates down, and this prevents loss of water into the ocean. Apart from that, one has to manage with these cash crops. The problem with cash crops like grapes and all is that they consume a lot of water, which can lead to depletion of water in the soil, and this can affect even the water table. So instead, keep rotating the crops, change the agricultural pattern such that you don't affect the water. Then apart from that, rainwater harvesting. Yes, GVMC is also encouraging rainwater harvesting pits. Groundwater recharge pits. We say that these are groundwater recharge pits. If you do all these things, you can conserve the water. This is example of a rainwater harvesting pit where you see that it is around a 6 feet deep thing which is put on the land, and all the water that is collecting on the rooftop, it is diverted into these pits. These are filled with gravel which act as filter beds, and you'll be putting these ring like things which you use for wells, and allow the water to enter into these. As it gets filtered, as it moves down, it gets filtered and enters into the ground. So this is how you can allow recharging of groundwater. It gets filtered and moves into the ground. Many apartments in Mumbai and all, they have come up with strategies where they use filter beds and divert the filter water into underground sumps, and this filtered water obtained from rainwater, it is used for cleaning cars, for cleaning floors and all. That is how they are trying to conserve rainwater. Thank you.